All right, let's see what $340,000 get you in Princeton, Texas. All right, you get a custom built swimming pool on the side of the house. Oh my God, oh. It's about to be 2026. Who cares about windows that you can let up and down anymore? You could actually just remove it. Like, imagine. And this would be super convenient if life was to ever get rough and you wanted to let go and let God. It's a decent little drop down.
Most of these houses go up in 4 days, no joke.
We got to really talk about how many new builds are having problems. People that bought homes, thought they were new, realized they were built like absolute trash. Let's talk about it. As a real estate agent and somebody that sees these things all the time, we got to talk about some of the disasters that people run into. Let's go.
And if it don't take you out, you'll probably still be wishing it did. A nice little area for you and your neighbors to slip and slide at the sidewalk. Now, this is one of the limited edition models where you don't get the actual garage door opener. You let it up and down by hand so nobody can get in and steal your car. We get some high-end designer cracks in the garage flooring. These are designer. For those of us that are super huge fans of energy loss and pest infiltration, here is where the little bugs will get in and all that lame air can get outside. Here's one of our lovely guests now. So window screens can be super annoying whenever you're trying to open the window and allow bugs to come in, so we don't have them here. We have more specially designed cracks in the patio, like you can't get these anywhere else. Privacy, a thing of the past. So majority of the doors around the house don't latch properly to encourage you to be more social when people want to come in and talk to you unannounced. This is where you would change a filter, but they blocked it for us because this is one of those high-end systems where you never have to change the filter. You're like, whenever the system fails completely, you just replace it. Some things are pre-damaged for you, so you don't really have to break it in. Now this house is highly sought after. And I have a lot of people putting in offers. So don't even think about hitting me up if you ain't pre.
If you're walking around a brand new house and you see all these little knickknacks that are blatantly obvious, the foreman's to blame, okay? And if that foreman missed those things on a final walkthrough, he missed everything. You're going to be looking at a lot of things in the walls that you would have never noticed. And that's why you always get a pre-drywall inspection and you get a inspection afterwards, even if you're buying from a home builder. The home builder will say, oh, well, we're going to give you a 1-year warranty, so we can always fix it later. Especially if you're using their agent, a builder's agent, be very careful. Have your own agent, pick your own stuff, and because they try to wrap all this up into their own lender, their own title company, their own agent. The deck's stacked against you from the beginning.
What's up, what's up? Listen, if you're in the market to buy a new house, I'll say this much. Do not buy a house after 2020. You wanna know why? Okay, I'll show you why. Hold on. Most of these houses go up in 4 days. No joke. We pour the foundation. They don't even wait a day for it to cure. Not even a day. I want you to see something real quick. Look at that. Oh, look at how even that is. Yep. Wait a second. No, that's not even the start of it. I mean, I'm going all over this place and see how far off they are. Look at that. Oh man, I know I'm not buying a brand new house. If you want something good, you gotta do it yourself. I mean, look at that. Oh my, no. No, this is not the kind of quality you want to have. I mean, this is weak at what it is.
If you could do one thing when you're buying a new build and they're framing, if you purchase it before the frame, like you put your down payment before they started framing, go walk through the frame once it's up. They're gonna do this thing in like a week. And they're going to be nailing everything that sticks, okay? Just touch. You better go look, and you better have it inspected, because that's where a lot of the problems are coming from. And then it just cascades from there. I mean, a lot of this wood nowadays is young, and it twists as it dries out. And not to mention the mold that happens on a lot of this wood that sat in a lumber yard for a long time. They got rained on when they put it up. Then they throw the siding and the walls on before it even dries out, and the subfloor's wet. Everything's wet. The concrete's still wet when they buckled the frame to the concrete. It just goes down from there. When they throw these things up so fast, be very, very careful, especially with a slab. Concrete needs time to cure.
This is a new neighborhood, brand new home. Look at the roof condition. These shingles are all beat up. These are in really rough shape. Too much exposure here. Those nails, all this. Look at the house next door. Look at all that damage. damaged shingle, more damage over here. There's a cut shingle. There's one of the attic vents. All the exposed nails. Shingles are
I
buckled.
tell you, this is heart-wrenching to watch. A lot of the work is subcontracted out. Many times, those subcontractors are nowhere to be found after the work's done, and you wind up with stuff like this. They'll say, can't put a home inspector on the roof. You wind up with this stuff. There is a lot of stuff with new builds that you got to be very careful with, and many of these things would be caught by a home inspector right off the bat. Now you've already purchased the property and you're trying to get it warranted, and it might take forever. Now with a roof leak, one thing you don't mess with is the roof, because it keeps everything else safe. You get one dribble coming in from these exposed nails after the heat hits it and they start to peek their head a little bit. That water goes down through your walls, and then all of a sudden you've got a stain on your sheetrock. Your ceiling's got stains in it. You start getting mold and mildew. You don't even notice it for a while, and the next thing you know, people are coughing. Be very careful with these exposed nails on shingles, and if you see a few of them, odds are the crew putting it together weren't really that good. You should not see a nail head, and you should see everything straight in line. Gotta do better, people.
Here's the new home. Comes with a shoe print right in the front entryway. Jam is split where they screwed in the latch plate. A little loose. Under the kitchen sink. Looks like they forgot that cover for the junction box. That's all right, it's moving ready. There's the oven. It's been on for about 10 minutes and it's still at 100 degrees, which means it's not heating at all. The garage wall, the sill gasket is out of place. On the roof, this fascia got cut with a hammer, leaving a nice gap. Custom.
If somebody's willing to allow their workers to cut flashing with a hammer, just knocking it off, what do you think the rest of the work's going to be like? That is a symbol of the guy running the crews, because he notices this stuff. Like, what happened to people having value in their work? To look back and say, I built that. It's great. Instead, it's how fast can we get this done? I mean, many of the products, too, they're using are temporary 5-year fixes from Lowe's. Like, a lot of this stuff, I mean, like, look at this flashing right here. This is absolute insanity, how awful this looks.
Flashing detail here. Just overlap it and bend it. Couple shiners here.
100%. My roof has these exposed nails, okay? And they have been a thorn in my side, and my roof's not even that old. They went offline with the nail gun. They'll work for 3 or 4 years, but once they start sticking their head up a little bit, they'll start leaking. And then you're up there with a caulk gun trying to hit all the little nail heads and seal them shut. And you're gonna do that every 3 or 4 years. Be careful when you get a roof. Have it inspected, and because the county inspector doesn't care. He doesn't care. He's gonna look at it from the road.
This is how your new Lennar homes are being built. Wood framing. How do we feel about that? Ultimately, this is what the product would look like, but this is wood framing here in Florida.
Well, my big thing with wood framing is the OSB. I'm not a fan of OSB plywood. Most of these houses are built with OSB because it's cheaper. And then they throw some Tyvek on it, the vapor barrier, they throw some cheap siding on it, and then they call it windproof. I don't think that the glue in that OSB is going to last more than 20 or 30 years. And especially if it gets wet, it's going to go pfft. I've watched them build whole hotels out of this OSB stuff, and they think it's the glue only lasts so long. And when it's getting hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold, it's only going to last so long. That's what they're building all these houses out of. And people are going to get mad at me, but you know what? I'm just telling you what I think. The days of brick homes, like my house, this house was built in 47. It is brick walls, 3 feet, 2.5 feet thick, with a roof sitting on the brick wall. There is no, there is no 2x4s. Okay, and people are like, oh, well, you know, with modern HVAC, you need, look, it does fine. It has an air gap in the bricks for insulation. This house, other than getting hit with an RPG, is going nowhere. They don't build houses like that anymore. Even the brick houses are stick framed with brick on the outside with an air gap for humidity to drizzle out the bottom to the weep holes. We don't build houses like we used to. What happened to cinder block houses? Those things last forever. I've seen this video on quite a few YouTubers right now, and they shouldn't be hammering them in. Those are meant to be shot in with a drill, right? That's why they're threaded. And threaded, I like threaded stuff better than nails because you can get them back out. They work better. They're cleaner. But you can, with stud hangers and things like that, you can usually use the one that you can drill in, like with a drill or whatever, or ones that you can hammer in. Now, I think he is just saying, you know what, F it, I'm just going to drive them in. I don't have the drill sitting around. I'm going to drive it in with a hammer. Not the right answer. They're threaded for a reason because they won't back out. But when you drive them in, like with a hammer, then it's just like a nail. If you're a framer, comment down below. Good, bad, ugly. I want to know your thoughts. But it's not the right answer to drive them in with a hammer.
Got some new condos built in my neighborhood. You gotta hop the curb to get in your car garage. It's pretty cool. This is my favorite one yet. Look at this garage. For real? What the?
Oh, wow. Wow. Who didn't look and say, maybe that doesn't work? You know, I'll say this. Planning and zoning down at the county should have caught this. Okay, down at the city, they should have said, you can't put a garage there because there is a power pole. So this is a cascade event, okay? They took their plans down to planning and zoning. People down there didn't catch it. Most of the time because the people at planning and zoning's turnover so much that they don't know it. They're not real estate attorneys. They're not contractors. There's somebody that just got hired to look at some plans and they gave them a set of rules to go by. They get sued a lot, okay? And having dealt with them for the last, few weeks, I realized that that's how this could happen. Then they took the planning down to the foreman, and the foreman didn't catch this. And then the guy building the framing didn't look out and look at the power line, okay? And then everybody just executed from there. And then here comes code enforcement. And then they're going to look at it. And then they're going to squabble in court for about 6 months. And somebody is going to have to either not have a garage, or they're going to have to move the power pole, or they're going to have to pay to move the power pole. Big mess. I don't know how you don't fix this. I don't know how somebody didn't catch it. Like, come on. What do you think? Comments down below.
I find it so interesting that most people don't want to buy a new construction home anymore. I did this video the other day, screenshot here, and I asked, yay or nay to new construction homes? And the majority of the comments were nay. Just because of the quality of build and people's opinions. A lot say it depends on the builder. People are just saying from all these different states, like, no, I bought this new construction home. I'm having all these issues. I'm better off buying something built 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago.
It's not even necessarily the quality of the build. Here's another little sketch thing they'll do. Let's say you buy your house and you've been there 2 years and they haven't finished building out the rest of the subdivision. Builders have a bunch of ways to keep the price point of a neighborhood at the same and not go down as the market starts to retract. A lot of times what they'll do is they'll start building the second and third phase. You're ready to sell in 2 years, but you can't because they're offering incentives on all the other houses. Buy downs, 1 year warranty, some type of credit at closing if you use their title company or their agent or, their lender, and there's no way to compete with them on their own houses when it's time for you to sell. Let's say you have to leave for the military or you have to transfer for your job. So you're going to be looking at a loss, selling it under probably where you bought it to compete with the other new ones that they just built that has nicer stuff, warranty, buy downs, credits at closing costs paid for. There's many ways you're going to get messed up in this deal. Quality, because a lot of them are built like Cracker Jack boxes, and financially, okay? Comment down below, what do you think?
I just find that so interesting. People were definitely not saying that 30 years ago when it comes to new construction homes. Times have changed.
Well, they also rigged the insurance world to where if you buy a new build, you're going to get a better insurance policy. Like the premium's probably going to be cheaper compared to an old house, because they just assume an old house is an old house, even though the walls are fortified. But they'll say, well, the plumbing or this or that, and it'll have been replumbed or rewired. And I think it's all rigged. They've lobbied the entire market to where it's all based for the home builder. It's all pointing towards the home builder wins. It's big lobbying right there.
Here at Adams Homes, the prices are falling. We're offering up to $20,000 in flex cash. Come on in.
I mean, everybody's hating on the real estate agents for doing stuff like this. Well, one, like, your real estate agent should be a representative of you. Don't hire somebody that falls over signs, okay? Two, they're trying to get attention. They're doing their job, but it's just a sign that maybe home builders or maybe sellers are like, you better get out there and get on it, because I got to sell this thing. The market is slowly correcting. But I will say this. Prices are going to be stopped here in a moment because the cost to build is back to where it was like 5 years ago, but they're still selling them for the same price. Hint, hint. Go look at the price of lumber.
So something pretty interesting is happening in the housing market right now, specifically about new construction. So due to record cancellations in July, new home sales were expected to decline going into August. But clearly that assumption could not have been more wrong, as new home sales have exploded 20.5% month over month. This is the biggest month over month increase since August of 2022. And a big reason for this could be the fact that new home prices are actually cheaper than existing home prices right now. Realtor.com shows us that new builds are going for around $218 per square foot versus $226 for resales. Add that with the fact that builders typically offer a lot of incentives like rate buy downs and even contribute towards.
And so many of these real estate numbers are twisted for headlines, and you know, it's hard to compare one side of the country with the other. And the NAR, they want to look like they know what they're doing, so they're going to write their article. I don't think his information is correct, but I will say this. When you are looking at a new build and the price you paid for it, you don't know the credits, you don't know the buy downs, you don't know all the things they threw in to get that house sold and to keep the price, the sales price where it's at. A lot of times on the MLS, you know, people will put these things, especially on a real sale. But on home builders, they have so many ways to make the price look more than what it is, to keep their comps up for a neighborhood.
Only minutes into finishing touches and close to completion here in Richmond, Texas. A recent price reduction just brought this home under $400,000 with a down payment around $13,000 and closing cost credits. Out-of-pocket expenses are minimal.
They building all these damn apartments and ain't nobody gonna be able to afford this.
They will afford it because they will manipulate the payment to where it's 50 years, it's a certain amortization. They will figure it out. I've always said they will change the way real estate is financed before they let the prices collapse. These builders have a thought process in their mind, and I don't think they're going to get caught like in 2008 unless a financial system melts down. But their cost to build right now is going down, 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 and they're still charging you the same amount. I talked to a builder the other day. I know what I'm talking about.
So y'all, I just came to this unit and I'm like, dang, they couldn't clean up before I come? Whatever, it's cool. I come outside and I notice I'm right in front of the jail. I am right in front of the jail. Look, you see? Hey, turn up.
Can you imagine drinking your cup of coffee with the jail guys screaming at you? That's nuts. That is insane. I showed a house the other day in a neighborhood, and I walked outside and I looked up and I could see the dump. Okay, like I could see the cresting of the trash dump. Okay, and if the wind shifted, you could smell it. And that's where we are on new builds. Like that first video we watched with the water in the front yard, many of these new builds are being thrown on land that used to be a swamp. And what happens when it rains in a swamp? No matter how much dirt you put in it, you got a swamp. And pretty soon, you get sinkholes. Be very careful in where you're buying these properties, okay?
I got the jail lit. That is so funny. They playing basketball down there, and they have a perfect view of this unit. So yeah, for only $3,000, you and your best friend could rent this 2-bedroom, 2-bath unit at downtown 5th Miami. Corner unit, lots of natural lighting. You know, everything else gonna get cleaned up. It's just the view. You know,
That's wild. That much a month? I will say this. The shadiest place in my town is a block in front of the jail. It's like the junkies come out of the jail, shoot up, lay in the street. Of the one place you would think it would be safe, solid, and sound is the gate of the jail. Nope, opposite. It's the worst part. You always got some junkie laying in the middle of the street, shooting up, selling drugs. And I'm like, well, maybe just have a couple cops hang out in front of the jail. And maybe you stop that. But then where do you put them? Like, it's a problem.
Amenities are the funniest thing of all time because you'll be on a tour and the leasing agent's like, yeah, here's this big open room with a couple couches in it. You can have parties here, but you're not allowed to have guests. Oh, when we have a ping pong table, get this. We're the only building in Tampa with an Olympic-sized ping pong table. The only one. Oh, do you guys have a hot tub? No hot tub, but ping pong table Olympic-sized. And besides the common room that you'll never use once in your entire time living here, we're the only building in Tampa with the gym on the 10th floor. Those other guys that have it on the 8th floor, the 6th floor, our gym, 10th floor. Oh, and the rent? $3,000 a month.
One of the easiest ways to up the rent on a property is add these amenities. Because when you're trying to make an apartment complex worth more, you want to increase cash flow, NOI, net operating income, and then you can change the cap rate. Those properties are sold on cap rates. So when you see all these amenities, and they can get 10 more a month, 20 more a month, 50 more a month because of these amenities. And then if they can throw some of that off on, you have to pay extra for this or for that parking spot or that extra parking pass, it changes the operating income, makes the property worth more. That's what they're trying to do to you.
Sill completely uneven, no weep hole cover, and a big gap in the corner. The grading is too low along the foundation here at this corner. Must have ran out of caulk.
Now, if you walk into a house and you see dead roaches, you see bugs, you see things just around that are either dead or moving, you've got a pest problem. And a lot of times, sometimes those pests are coming from outside the house, inside the house. So there is a lot of issues, like your termites, for example. Don't get mad at me for this, but most of the time those termites are living in the bushes or the brush or the random logs and stuff laying around the yard, then they're coming into your house. Same way with roaches, and around the water, you get a lot of those roaches and water bugs and all kinds of stuff coming from the water into your house. If you're seeing a lot of dead ones, there's a reason, especially spiders, termites. It also goes over to mice too. Just be cognitive of this stuff. If you're seeing them, they're there.
Here we are, new construction at a rough wall inspection. Now check this out. I thought I'd share this with you. As I walk by, you can see the light blinking through the block. I think we forgot a little something. And this is new construction, as you can see. The nicest thing in here is that ladder. That ladder and the breaker box that just zipped past. Yeah, let me know what you think.
That is an absolutely wrong answer. You should not be able to see light. There should be concrete and masonry throughout that entire wall. But it almost looks like, I will say this, I saw some lolly columns going around there. It almost looks like they blocked it in and then they framed it in. Comment down below what's your thought. I see this on the beach a lot. There'll be a beach house on stilts and then they'll frame in the bottom and it'll look like that. But they should have still filled all the gaps in with mortar and concrete, and this should be done right. But I'm wondering if the poles were there, then they laid their block, and they didn't mortar it properly. That's what it looks like to me. What do you think?
So I'm working on a new build here, and this is the kind of electrical we are doing. Really kind of liking it, but then I get into the HVAC stuff, and I wonder how the hell is work like this in a new build, how all this is acceptable. What a complete mess. Look at all the vents. I'm sure they run it all to one place to keep the roof penetrations down. But look at that. All of them from all over.
I tell you, kinked HVAC lines are a real problem with your drops when you're trying to get AC in a house. That's why old houses and HVAC systems don't go together, because they weren't planned to have HVAC systems in them. And when you run these hoses all over the place, there's a formula for it. There's a math formula for it. When you run them all over the place, they don't always work right. You'll get very little air coming out, or you'll have, you know, hot and cold spots all over the house, and it's a real issue. And you got to really pay attention when you're buying a house to the HVAC unit.
So how about I'm supposed to be closing on my DR Horton build home next week, and now all I see on my TikTok feed is how crappy the builds are. Drop some comments in the comments below about things that you had trouble with. That way, when I do my walkthrough prior to closing, I can know exactly what to look for and make sure that they fix it. Because apparently, new builds from DR Horton are not the wave.
You should have done that before you got to the closing table. You should have got a home inspection right off the bat. Don't listen to the DR Horton representative. They have a contract built for them to win if there's a problem. They want you to use their agent, and they're not going to hold your hand through all this, okay? You need your own agent, your own home inspector, your own WDO inspector, okay? That's wood destroying organisms. You need to have those done before you even get done with your inspection period. And then by the time you get to that last week before closing, you should have checked all these boxes. You should already have your walkthrough list done, and you have done your little blue tape walkthrough where you're going through doing all the problems, okay? And then you have them in writing before you ever think about closing. It's not DR Horton bad, okay? It's some of them are bad, and they do produce a lot of houses. So they're going to have some problems, and they probably have different contractors on every one of them and subcontractors on every one of them. And you need to make sure you check blocks correctly. Real estate is about mitigating risk, and you mitigate risk by these inspections at certain points, and hopefully you get a good house. My opinion on that. I've done this a lot. If you're looking for a real estate agent anywhere in the country, I'd be happy to help you find one. And if you're looking for real estate on the Gulf Coast of Florida, Alabama, I'd be happy to help you as a real estate agent here in Florida, Alabama. My email's down below. But that's all I got on this video. I wanted to talk about these issues. I saw these videos going around out there. Half the people talking about them don't know what they're talking about. As somebody that kind of knows what I'm talking about, because I do this all the time, I wanted to give you my opinions on some of them, and that's about as much as I can do in 20-25 minutes. I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and on to the next video.